Welcome back to some more Psychonauts. I'm the Comic Foil. This one might be a little bit more of a filler episode while I try to get some little bits of minutia done. So if you want to skip this one, I totally understand. I'm probably just going to be rambling about again.
Good. Now? So, as you can imagine, we are in some bad trouble.
Sounds like it's time something bad happened to our fine coach.
Well, let me tell you what our plan is.
Please, you have your plan, I have mine.
But
say no more.
Yep, little Billy's going to go off on his own, I guess.
Okay, here's the plan.
I've never seen her face
I'm
up
gonna go
close.
on the coach's radio and call for help.
See, now that's an excellent idea. Why can't everyone be so helpful?
Yeah, I modified the antenna, so now it broadcasts straight into outer space.
Oh, man.
Okay, so maybe some
any
astronauts will come help us.
Is that okay?
Well, he'll be fully brained soon, I promise.
When he comes out, tell him I'm waiting for him down by the docks, okay?
Oh, I bet you
Do you
are.
want to help us save the... Typical.
Why do people, when someone
That's
turns
why
invisible, they,
finding your
like,
brain in
look all
particular is
around?
my highest priority.
You know, I'll bet if JT wasn't so distracted, this wouldn't have happened. He's probably with that prissy little show pony right now.
No, actually I think her mind's on other things at the moment.
Well, maybe I'll go see what's up. One of us at least should be guarding the sleeping quarters.
Her mind's on other things, like
Did you
on a
learn?
countertop
What
or
is the
something.
current situation?
I better
Nothing
go.
yet.
Good luck.
So that gives me some more health to work with, which is good. So yeah, as I said, guys, releases are going to be a little bit more staggered here. One, because I don't even know between this and the Pokemon Black Nuzlocke and Darkest Dungeon and Skies of Arcadia coming back, I don't really know what I would want my release schedule to be anyway.
Take me to
But that's also just, like, a lot of work for me to do. And it's hard for me to do work right now because while I'm recording this, it is the week of my wedding. Holy crap. So what they... Oh, great. There is exactly one Psy card somewhere on this map, and I need to find it. Oh, boy. So that's what I'm going to be doing for a little bit. Like I said, this is going to be a more fillery episode while I, hold on.
Hey, want to help me save the world?
Thanks.
It's time to circle the wagons, partner. That's the best plan right now. I'm busy patrolling the homestead, with my partner Chops riding shotgun.
Okay, I just wanted to see how those two were doing together again. And also hide the fact that I was sneezing off camera, which I'll remove. A single side card. I'm going to look for this single side card because I must find everything in this game. But also wanted to talk a little bit about... So something I wanted to do coming up to the wedding. This is building up to a Comics Pointless Countdowns, basically. I thought about doing a video, and there's just been no time to do it. I'm bad at editing videos that aren't Let's Plays. It takes me a long time to do. If this episode comes out before May 24th, as it might, May 24th is the date of my actual wedding. Yeah, thank you for telling me that my Steam share is working. I already knew that, Steam. So I wanted to do my own, like, kind of silly small form countdown review, but I didn't have any time to do it. Oh, I thought I was grinding so fast that I was, like, starting a fire, but no, a Puma set me on fire. So I guess it's always gonna be nighttime now here for the rest of the game. So what I want to do is a stupid little countdown idea that I had. I even talked about this on Twitter a little bit, so some of you are going to know some of my choices. Comics Pointless Countdowns, the top 10 weddings in video games. So not like in real life somebody has a video game themed wedding where they play like Super Mario Brothers while they walk down the aisle or anything like that. No, this is weddings that happen in games, because games are often narratives, they're often playable narratives, weddings are fun. So it's a little bit tough because I'm doing this unscripted, but I already ordered my 10 choices, so I'm going to be doing this off the cuff. It just seemed like the easiest way for me to produce this quickly while also working on something else. So if this idea doesn't interest you at all, feel free to skip this episode because I'm really just going to be running around in circles and showing like a few JPEGs of the things that I'm talking about while I look for a single Psy card. But it's easiest for me to think while I'm playing a game and also just talk. So that's what it's going to be. So there aren't that many good examples that I can think of, but I could come up with 10. And the reason why it was so hard was weddings usually come at the ends of things. There are plenty of romances in video games, but I wanted to specifically do weddings because, you know, I've had a romance with Allie for a long time. That's not what I'm celebrating right now. I'm celebrating getting married. A wedding is a very special thing, and I'm not saying that to be elitist just because I am getting married now. I don't believe that everybody needs to be married to, like... One, not everybody needs to even be with somebody to be happy in their lives. But not all couples, like, need to do marriage, you know? If it's something that the two of you are interested in and you want to take that step, that's great. But I know some people who just went their whole lives without ever getting married, and it just kind of worked for them. So if that's, you know, if that's how you want to go, that's great.
Terrible about that.
Yeah, I can tell. But, you know, wedding, you're getting in front of everybody, you're promising that you're going to love this person and stand by them forever, and you're doing it in front of a lot of people, unless you just elope, in which case you're, like, doing it in front of God or whatever forces you believe in, or lack of forces you believe in, or you're just trying to make it legal, so you're doing it in front of the state. It's a ceremony and it's a commitment, so that's the kind of thing that I'm looking for here. I'm really excited for this wedding. Freaking out a little bit, not about getting married, but about just how much there still is to do for it. I mean, we're pretty much up to date with everything, but there's always... Feels like there's always more things that, like, you maybe forgot to take care of. Alright, let's go to the campsite and look around there. Okay, so... Not a lot of weddings in games, because a lot of romances will just, like, maybe you'll assume that they'll stay together or get married later. It's not... Weddings don't usually happen during the action. They usually are happening once the conflicts are taken care of. And if they do happen in the middle of the game, it's because the wedding is something that you, like, don't want to happen, and you need to crash the wedding. Not like wedding crashers, like you just go in uninvited to eat all the food, but to literally, like, stop the whole thing from happening. Here we go. Sneaking through here. And I didn't want to do too many of those because, you know, I'm trying to be excited for a wedding, so I don't want all of them to be examples of weddings that you, like, luckily stop from happening because it's a bad wedding. If you're crashing a wedding in a game, it's because the wedding was a bad thing in the first place. But I do have a couple examples of weddings getting crashed, and the first one happens to come from a game all about crashing things. It is Castle Crashers, which is a game I really like. So not only do you crash a lot of castles and you kind of just, like, jump in and wreck the place while trying to get the princesses back, but one of the captured princesses is being forced into a marriage. Like, supposedly forced. Seems like she's forced. She's being tied up. But by one of the... In the Conehead army, there's a guy that we just call the Conehead Groom. His best man and his best friend is a Cyclops. Keep thinking that I see the side card, but I don't. And what you do is you're on the battlements, and you fall through the ceiling and literally, like, right onto the wedding cake. So already you're ruining the place. The first room is like they're having dinner. There's, like, food on every table, which is great because you can use that to heal yourself. You're fighting a lot of Coneheads. And at the end, you get to the actual chapel, and you fight the Conehead Groom, who uses... If you've played the game or if you've seen Oscar's top 10 musician fighters, you know about this guy. The Conehead Groom fights with an organ, and by playing the organ, the pipes of the organ shoot bombs, and it gets to the point where it's just raining dozens and dozens of bombs down on you, and you need to stand in the right areas. That boss can be a little bit annoying if your team isn't coordinated. It's easy for people to get themselves killed if they're just, like, not following the dance. But... Ah, jeez. But I just especially like crashing through the ceiling and landing on the cake and everybody, like, all the guest Coneheads being surprised. And I like how sad the Cyclops' best man is when he sees that his friend is dead, and the Cyclops keeps coming back throughout the game. You even see him again at the very end of the game. He's one of the last few bosses because the Necromancer brings back the Cyclops. He brings him back to life, and he's carrying around the coffin of his friend, the Conehead Groom, and there's even a zombie Conehead Groom that comes out of the coffin to attack you. So, that's my number 10, the wedding that you crashed, the crashing of the Conehead wedding. Number 9 is going to be, I forget which Monkey Island game it's even from. I want to say Secret of Monkey Island. So you're playing as Guybrush Threepwood, you're trying to save the girl Elaine. I'm pretty sure her name is Elaine Marle. It's been a while since I played any of the Monkey Island games. They're text-based adventures, basically. Or point-and-click adventures, because there's text, but there's also pictures. And Elaine's been captured in a very similar situation by the evil pirate Captain LeChuck, and being forced into a wedding, and you finally get to the wedding at the end, and you try to stop it, but you find out, because you're the guy you're playing as, Guybrush Threepwood, is kind of a hapless fool. Like, he gets stuff done, but because he's lucky. Almost in a more well-meaning Jack Sparrow kind of way. Like, if he gets through anything, it's because he lucks out, it's because of dumb luck, or it's because he tries something so stupid that it works. And he comes to crash this wedding, but it turns out his being there actually thwarts Elaine's own escape attempt. So, it's kind of an interesting, inversion of the damsel in distress trope, that when you come to rescue the damsel in distress, you find out that she wasn't actually a helpless damsel, she was finding her own way out of there, and by interfering, you mess it up. And it's just kind of funny, like the whole game is. So those are the only two, like, bad weddings that must be stopped. The next two I have on here, because even though they're good weddings, they're kind of painted sadly. There's kind of a sad occasion wrapped around them. Okay, I thought maybe there'd be a side card in here, but I don't see it, so I think it's not here. Number 8 is from the Metal Gear Solid series. This is one where it's a wedding that's at the end of the game, but so it's the wedding of Johnny Sasaki and Meryl Silverberg. I say it's kind of a sad occasion because, so Snake and Meryl kind of had a thing going. They were giving each other puppy dog eyes in the first Metal Gear Solid game. But because of Snake's whole situation, his body is deteriorating, which is why he looks like an old man by Metal Gear Solid 4, even though it hasn't been that many years later. He's deteriorating due to a quirk of the cloning process that created him, and maybe also the Fox Die virus that was put into him in the first Metal Gear Solid, but no, I think it's just because of cloning. And just, like, poor Snake, but I always feel like, man, this is a guy who, like, has given so much for his country. Like, he's really lost his entire life. I mean, he was literally born for his country against his will, against the person he was cloned's will. And he's never had a chance to, like, have a normal life. And he, you know, has a thing with Meryl. Maybe you get the sense that they could be happy together if Snake wasn't Snake, if he just wasn't the person that he was born to be. And she's still in her prime, and he's an old man now. And here comes Johnny Sasaki. So Johnny Sasaki is in all of the Metal Gear Solid games, not every Metal Gear game, but he's a joke character. There's always a guard who, like, gets sick to his stomach. Sorry if I'm explaining this to any people who, like, already know all about it. But yeah, he's the guard that always gets diarrhea. You even meet one of his ancestors in Metal Gear Solid 3 because that one's a prequel. But this comic relief character not only, like, turns out to be, like, one of the biggest heroes in the 4th game, which is, like, the finale, the final game in the main storyline chronologically, but he's the guy who gets the girl. And, I mean, they have lots of romantic chemistry, too, Johnny and Meryl. It's very even, like, Meryl's definitely the tough one in the relationship, but also Johnny's willing to step up if it means protecting Meryl, I can see it. I can see the Psy card. Oh, this is great. This is great. I see it. Now I just gotta figure out how to get to it. Alright, that didn't take as long to find as I was afraid it might. But I still need to get it. So you see their wedding, and it's happy and everything, and, like, you know, good for them. They even have, you know, they propose to each other and declare their love for each other and everything during a firefight, which is a ridiculous situation, but still, like, strangely endearing to me, at least. I still thought it was cute, even though it was completely ridiculous. Come on. Why couldn't you just grab the thing? But then at the end, when they're getting married, you know, it's great. You can tell it's really happy for them, but at the same time, you know that Snake, like, it's followed up by Snake about to take his own life so that he doesn't, you know, become a biological weapon as a result of all the things that have been injected into him. And it just hits hard so much of, like, how Snake, you poor, poor boy. Still a very nice wedding, though, and I still like the scene because it's emotionally impactful to me. As ridiculous as... get off the rail. I don't want to be on the rail. Thank you. God. No, get off the rail. Jeez. It's like I have magnet shoes on. Alright. So I believe this should be the only thing that's left here on this map. Wait. 20 of 21. Each of these areas counts as a different area? Oh, no. Okay, so the reception area here alone has another card. Well, this is going to take me longer than I thought. This is worse than I could have imagined. Alright, keep an eye out for more side challenge cards. As I go on to the next kind of sad situation thingy here. Okay, To the Moon is my number 7. This is a game that I really love. I won't spoil the whole thing because it's just a beautiful story. I am going to talk a little bit about the plot, though. This is like stuff that's kind of happening in the middle of the game. So To the Moon, to summarize it basically, these two scientists going through the memories of a guy named Johnny Wiles, I think his full name is. So you're using a computer to reconstruct his memories, and you're going backwards through his life. And you learn about him and his marriage, his wife named River, who died a few years back from when they're looking at the memories. So it's really interesting seeing kind of this guy's life story playing out in reverse. Because first you know that she's dead, and then you actually kind of see her on her deathbed. And then in another scene, like, you're kind of seeing their marriage and how there's kind of an emotional rift between Johnny and River. Like, clearly they have love for each other, but they have trouble communicating, and it's partially because River is... partially because River is autistic. I didn't pause there because I was trying to think of how to say it. I paused there because I was dealing with a puma. She's autistic, which makes it hard for her to express herself. But also there's some reasons on Johnny's end that he's having trouble communicating. So it's kind of a two-way streak. Why the rift happened between them is another thing, but you basically see their marriage is a little fraud, and it goes all the way back to the day of their wedding. Again, they have a very pretty wedding on a cliffside overlooking the ocean. Can I, like, open this locker, maybe? But, you know, the entire thing is kind of painted as unhappy because you've already seen, like, where this leads, and they're even... To tell you the truth, I don't remember the wedding scene. The wedding isn't the most memorable part of that game for me. I remember other things about the story better, but they kind of both sneak away because they're both feeling really stressed out, even, like, right after they got married, because things are just sort of not feeling right to them. And like, oh wow, that's a terrible way to feel after you just commit to something major that's either going to be for the rest of your life or make you go through a messy divorce process. Even a clean divorce process is just a messy process, let's be honest. But it's not so much that they don't want to be married, it's just there's a lot of feelings that they have trouble explaining, and it's just hard for them to be around that many people. And that's something I can kind of relate to. I'm kind of a more introverted person. I like to be among a small group of friends way more than a big group of people. And it ends up kind of happy because they stay by the lighthouse and just talk while, like, everybody else is celebrating. They sneak away from their own, you know, reception party. And they end up going into the lighthouse, and you just see silhouettes of them dancing as it fades to black. And then probably consummating their marriage. But, you know, it's sweet that they're able to have this moment. It's just sad because there's so much sadness surrounding that moment in the game that even a happy moment is going to be bittersweet because you know where it's going. But again, still a very emotionally affecting scene from a very emotionally affecting game. Ah, boy. If I don't find all these side cards this episode, then I'm not actually gonna do it on camera. I'm just going to do it off camera. At this point, I'm really only doing this as an excuse to do my pointless top 10. With minimal effort, mind you. Okay, so we're moving on to weddings that are happy occasions, starting with a much more optional wedding. I'm gonna go to Stardew Valley. This was Allie's idea, actually, my soon-to-be wife. She loves Stardew Valley. I love Stardew Valley, too, but I can't even touch how much she loves it. Where is this last dang side card? Side card, side marker, whatever it's actually supposed to be called. Stardew Valley, it's like Harvest Moon or Animal Crossing. It's really just you can do whatever you want to do. It's based around, you know, having a farm. You can get married. So again, I could, like, say all the same things about Harvest Moon, but I can't because I think Stardew Valley really does it better. There are 12 different suitors in the main game unless you're getting mods, and that's only at this time. I think there were originally 10, and they updated it to let you marry 2 more of the characters, and for all I know, I think they might still be updating it again, and they might be making 2 more characters, allowing them to be suitors. You can build a friendship with any character in the game, not just the 12 characters that you can marry, and you get cutscenes with people as you get to know them better, but the scenes with the suitors tend to be particularly rewarding. Most of them turn out to be really deep. My favorite ones are Leia, who's the artist girl, and Maru, who's the scientist girl. But there are 6 boys, 6 girls. Yes. But the game lets you suit and marry whichever of those 12 you want, regardless of gender. If you're a guy, you can marry a girl. If you're a girl, you can marry a guy. If you're a guy, you can marry another guy. If you're a girl, you can marry another girl. And all of the characters, everybody is bisexual. You know, that's fine. This is supposed to be like your fantasy. You're supposed to get to do whatever you want, so it lets you marry whoever you want, regardless of gender restrictions. And not only is it great just to see a game, you know, be so LGBT, but just to give you the freedom to, like, do things the way you want. The wedding itself is kind of simple, which is why it's very much lower on the list, but it's a nice, you know, everybody in town is there, everybody you care about. It's the kind of wedding that, if it's like in real life, it's the kind of wedding that I think I would most want to have, where I got like the 20 or so closest people in my life all there, and it's just a nice little ceremony. Also, if you're playing on PC and you get mods, there's a mod to pretty much marry any other character in the game. So, if you want to marry Mayor Lewis, there's a mod for that. Next up on my list I have at number 5, so there's actually a lot of weddings in the Final Fantasy games, and I was trying to think of which one I wanted to do. I definitely didn't want to do in Final Fantasy X, there's a wedding that you had to crash. Seymour is marrying Yuna, and you all had to run in there and stop it. You know, fun to crash, but not fun in the first place, because everything that Seymour's involved with is just terrible. Yeah, there's another card here in this main campground area, too. Oh boy, this is going to take forever. especially because I need to sneak around all these animals. There's a wedding point in Final Fantasy IX where you have to get through past the dwarves, you basically need to get married. Basically, you're, like, doing a thing to conform to their culture and their traditions to get through the dwarf town to a place that's sacred to them. And you can either get Zidane and Garnet, that is Dagger as she sometimes goes by, either getting them married, like, only legally. But that's cute because, you know, they really do have feelings for each other, but they would never admit it at this point. Or if you do things a certain way, you can actually get Vivi and Quina married, which is just weird and hilarious. Okay, got another one. So that's all the ones here in the main campground. Then... but that's not my choice still. My choice is actually going to be from Final Fantasy IV, and honestly, I don't even remember this one that well. But it's the wedding of Cecil and Rosa at the very end. I don't remember it very well, but I remember just kind of being happy that they were together. They're in love from the very beginning, but Cecil has a lot of self-hatred issues, and also they're dealing with the plight of the world and everything. What do we have here? Yep, there's one other side card in the kids' cabin areas. Why don't I check in the cabins for once? And if not, then I'll start hopping on rooftops. Okay. Oh, let's talk to these guys.
Save the world?
Nope.
What?
Hey, want to help me save the world?
Nope.
Wow. Okay. I mean, I am the reason why you still have a brain in your head, but fine. You don't have to pay me back for anything. It's fine. It's fine. It's great. Yeah, I don't really have a lot to say about Cecil and Rosa's wedding, except it's happy and it's just kind of a nice way to end the game and end their story. You know, I don't always think that everything should end with the main male and female leads getting married. I hate when they force that, but it's very not forced with the two of them. It's definitely what was always supposed to happen with them, and then now finally they can be together and have the life they want. I would like to actually put the wedding from Final Fantasy 15, which, from what I hear, is actually really beautiful and kind of what the entire game is about in a way, but... Oh, she's working on the radio. I have not played Final Fantasy 15 yet, and I don't want to play something that I don't actually know anything about.
This world is a goner. Right now, I'm just trying to hitch a ride to the next one over.
She seems really funny, and I wish I spent more time talking to her earlier in the game. I kind of like her. Man. So, another one kind of in a similar vein of, like, it's happy, but it's just kind of there. There's nothing too special about it, but at least it's happy, so for the sake of this list. Chrono Trigger. I played Chrono Trigger on the DS. If you're playing the DS version or the PS1 version, there are brand new animated cutscenes, which are really beautiful, and are done in that kind of Dragon Ball Toriyama sort of style. So at the end of the game... Crono and Meryl / Marle / however you want to pronounce it get married. And I guess you could say this is kind of an example of what I was just complaining about, is they just kind of marry the two leads together. And they didn't have that much chemistry to, like, be getting married. They spent some time at the fair together at the beginning of the game. I can totally believe that they like each other, but the game just, like, doesn't show enough to say, oh yeah, these two are definitely getting married. But that's just not the focus of that game. And anyway, I like it with the new cutscene. Wait, was that the side card up there? I thought I maybe saw it. I don't know. Keep talking, John. So, what's weird about it is that none of the other party characters are there at the wedding, but it's being treated as a royal wedding, which I guess is making Crono the new king, because Meryl's going to inherit the throne of whatever their kingdom is called. I can't actually remember what it's called. Melchior is there, which is one of the only NPCs that it would make sense to have there. I don't think you even see Chrono's mom there. I don't know if you ever see, Yep, that's definitely the Psy card up there. How do I get to it? Can I land on these treetops? Are they opaque? Are they solid? No, but I kind of cheesed it there for a second. Okay. Frog, Robo, and Isla couldn't be there because they're all at their other time periods. Luca's probably there. It just doesn't show her at all in the wedding. I would have liked to see her there as like a maid of honor or something. But the way the cutscene goes, you know, it shows each of the characters somewhere, and it chooses instead to show Luca at a thing that's going to be a setup for Chrono Cross, finding an abandoned baby child. Is there something I can climb over here? How do I... Oh man, I need to do some pathfinding. I don't know how to get up that steep way there. Let's climb up to the basic braining area again. Try from there. So maybe it's just that, like, it seems like Luca's not there because of compression of time, and they didn't want to show her in two different places during the cutscene. But anyway, it's nice. Crono and Meryl just look so happy during the cutscene. And Melchior says hi to them in the crowd, and they recognize him, and they're like, "Oh, hey, you came!" There's no dialogue, but it's just, I don't know. Very wholesome. That's a very wholesome, normal wedding. Yeah, I still see the card up there, and I still have no idea how to get up. Okay, see a platform there. There must be a tightrope. There must be a tightrope somewhere. Alright, so that was number... What was that? 4? Yeah. It makes it sound like I don't actually like very many video game weddings, and maybe that's true. Maybe I wish there were more. Maybe I just haven't played the right games. I hear that there's, like, a pretty good one in one of the Phantasy Star games. Different stuff like that. Can I do a swingy bit here? Oh, no, this is just to get me back to that trampoline, but maybe the trampoline's where I want to be. I just try going into the caves and stuff. There has to be another way up. Okay, I'm going to try going into this cave now. Maybe there's another exit out of the cave. Maybe there's a place I can climb up to. It seems like I'm going down, which is the opposite of what I would want. I don't remember this leading to anywhere, like, high up, but I've been wrong before. Yeah, there's a ladder here. That seems hopeful. No, I think this just, like, leads me up into the one sewer thing that's near the campground. That's near the cabins. Okay. So my number 3 is from Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. It is the Pikachu wedding. When you get to this one town, there's a cutscene that can activate where you see a bunch of kids holding a wedding for Pikachus. Obviously, the kids aren't, like, ordained or anything, and I don't know if Pikachus have the right to marry, but they walk down the aisle. It's very adorable. I kind of wasn't having very much fun with Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon because it was only a year after Sun and Moon had come out and I had played through those games. I really like Sun and Moon, just Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon weren't different enough, I felt like, to, you know, justify a brand new full-price release. So I was having a rough time enjoying it. But when the Pikachu wedding happened, I thought it was so cute and so charming. It was like finally I can feel something while playing this. What kind of ruins it is you talk to one of the kids afterwards, and they say, like, of course, this was all for fun. They're not really married. To which I respond, yes, they are. They love each other. Number 2, then, is going to come from a Zelda game. It is going to be one of everybody's favorite video game romances of all time. The Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask. It's Anju and Kafei from the Anju and Kafei subquest. Sorry for the little skip there, I just had a coughing fit. I need to get some water soon. I also really need to figure out how to get to this freaking Psy card. Oh my god. Okay, I saw something. I saw something here. It's really hard to see because it's so dark, but there is a net up there. Okay. Alright, I can just barely get to it on the opposite wall. This would have been way easier to figure out during the daytime when there wasn't darkness to contend with. But yes, I got it. I found a thing I can grab onto. Yes! Oh my gosh. This is so much work for such a small reward that this is going to be. Is this the highest I can get? It's hard to tell. It's pretty dark. Yes! Oh, thank goodness. What is this tightrope even attached to, anyway? Freaking nothing. It's just attached to a tree. The tightrope's just here to make sure that you can latch onto something. You can barely see it against all the darkness. Okay, but anyway. Yep, that's all of them in the camping area. Let's go back to the main campgrounds. And let's talk about Anju and Kafei. Anju and Kafei, they were... Slightly before the events of the game, they were engaged to be married, but Kafei disappeared because... So in their culture, the bride and the groom each make a mask, and then the masks are somehow combined into some kind of, like, mask of marriage, I don't know. And the problem was Kafei had his mask stolen by a thief. So he didn't want to show his face, he was trying to get it back. And to make matters worse, there was a curse placed on Kafei to make him into a child. So what you're trying to do, it's too late to really do anything about Kafei's curse, but he just really wants the mask back. Even though, like, the world is pretty much about to end, or at least Termina itself, he just really wants the mask back because it's a symbol of his love. Good, we have... Oh, it says there's a side challenge marker here, though, on the beach. Meaning I'm not done exploring the beach here. Nope, don't want to enter that. So you do this really complex quest to find Kafei. It also means dealing with the postman, dealing with Kafei's mother, dealing with Anju, trying to meet people at very specific times, passing letters back and forth. But you help Kafei get the mask back, and by the time you're done with all of this, and you may have had to start over a few times to do it, because you gotta do all this in 3 in-game days. And you can't miss any of the appointments. But by the time you do all of this... Maybe I'll get on... Yeah. You find Anju waiting in her room, not trying to escape the town or do anything, except just wait for Kafei at the inn, all alone with her wedding dress, just, like, hung up, looking beautiful. Kafei tells you, if you do the quest, that he'll meet her there. But when you go there, he's not there. She's just waiting for him until the, like, literal last 6 hours of... before the moon crashes. When it's... And also, like, the last 6 hours is when, like, the music in Clocktown and the whole world basically starts getting, like, really intense. It's its own music track. It's very powerful. You can feel the weight of, like, how everything we knew is about to end if you don't turn back time and try again to fix everything. Let's see what we can see. I don't want to enter the campground. I'm pretty sure there's things that I can, like, swing from around here, aren't there? It's just so dark. It's so hard to see anything. But yeah, okay. Could grab this. Ah, man, this takes me back to, like, episode 2 of this freaking Let's Play. Oh, God. I wish it was daytime. I really, really wish it was daytime. But, yeah, Kafei and Anju come together, and they literally just wait out the end of the world with each other. They just are in each other's arms. Anju doesn't care that Kafei was turned into a kid. You know, there's nothing sexual about it. These are just two people who love each other so much, and they just embrace and wait. And they combine the masks, and they create the couple's mask, which they give to you. That's the item that you get for doing this quest. And I guess by doing that, that, like, symbolizes, you know, the ceremony, because this is how their world works. So it is a wedding. But don't worry, they can have a real wedding if you complete everything in the game. You can, you know, if you do their quest, if you do save the world and stop the vicious cycle of the moon falling out of the sky. During the credits, you can see a bunch of people coming together for their wedding. You don't ever get to see grown-up Kafei. They're very shrewd about that, of not letting you see what he would look like. Saving them on having to create a new character model. Not that they had to create too many character models for Majora's Mask. They're mostly recycled from Ocarina. Okay. Oh god, I can't see. I don't think it's up there though, anyway. Okay, how about we climb a tree? And climb a tree to look around. Well, we get to our number 1, which is... So, I was originally thinking of listing Super Mario Odyssey. This is my honorable mention, actually, because the whole game is about a wedding. Wow, Bowser really put on a great wedding. He got different, like, pieces of the wedding from all over the world. He got, like, the sodas from the Beach Kingdom, where the water is caffeinated, and he got the cake from, like, the best cake-making place in the world, and the dress from the lakeside people. He kidnapped a bunch of wedding guests. Like, he's having a good time, but unless you've been following Mario for a while, you might not know that this isn't the first wedding that Peach has been at, where she was the bride. In fact, it's at least the 3rd, because she's being forced to marry Booster in Super Mario RPG, and she's being forced to marry Bowser again. Being forced to marry Bowser in Super Paper Mario. And the funny thing about that one is they go through with it. They get married. And to my knowledge, it's never actually been annulled. I think they just like to pretend that it didn't happen because, you know, it was kind of against Peach's will. But, oh, God, can't see. You're hiding. You're hiding behind foliage. Yeah, this is where I got one of the scavenger hunt items, but I wanted to see if maybe from up here there's a place I could jump to get another side card. But that's not even the wedding that I'm talking about, even though it's funny that, like, Bowser's, like, really happy for the wedding. He's just like, I don't know how I got here, but I'm going along with this. The wedding's being orchestrated not by Bowser, but by Count Bleck and his minions. They even used Nastasia's mind control to force Peach to say, I do. And they're doing this to fulfill a prophecy. A marriage of light and dark has to be done to summon the Chaos Heart, which is an artifact that will be used to bring an end to all things. To all realities, to all universes. It's bad news bears. How about up here? Can I see anything from up here? Where is this freaking challenge marker? But that's not the wedding in question that I care about, actually. The wedding I want, and they... Oh, I see it. Yep, it's on that rock. Just gotta figure out how to get up to it. Will it be as simple as me just, like, making my way up the rock? Probably not. I just need some kind of foothold. I wish it wasn't nighttime so that I could see more easily. At the end of the game, the Chaos Heart is used... Yay! To destroy the world. To destroy all worlds. But... Count Bleck decides that he actually doesn't want to go through with it, that he wants to make it right after you defeated him and defeated another villain and stuff. So they decide to have another wedding, a real one of light and dark, to summon back the Hearts of Light and try and counteract the Chaos Heart. So a wedding of light and dark is what started, and a wedding of light and dark is what will finish it. Rather than remarrying Peach and Bowser, who, as far as I can tell, are still married. They didn't get legally divorced or anything. I'm sure it would be a very amicable divorce. No, it is a marriage between Count Bleck and Tippy, or Bloomier and Timpani, as I should call them. I put a spoiler warning on the screen because I realize this is pretty spoilery. Probably shouldn't be spoiling this for people who don't know. There's another side challenge marker in this area. Shoot. This is a pain. I'm gonna pack it in soon. So all throughout the game, like after each chapter, you get these little asides, like all in black, of just like a story of a forbidden love between somebody from the Light Tribe and somebody from the Dark Tribe, and whose fathers didn't want them together. And a great tragedy, and how Timpani was supposedly killed, and it's what sent Blumir into a horrible rage, and he eventually became Count Bleck, and he wanted to destroy all worlds, basically, because he was so lovesick, and if he couldn't have the love of his life, he didn't want anything to exist. Little did he know that Timpani was not killed. She was transformed into a pixel, into a little butterfly thing, and has been your partner Tippy for this entire game. And she was suffering from some amnesia. But they find each other again. Count Bleck is, you know, forgiven for all that he's done, but he also, like, needs to make it all right again. They still love each other, so they get married. I believe as a count, Count Bleck is allowed to do that. He is allowed, you know, weddings that he throws are for real. They're official. So legally, they get married and are destroyed in summoning the hearts and using them to save all known universes. You think they're completely destroyed, but in the end credits, you can see a scene of them, like, off in the distance of who knows where, that, you know, it suggested that they're together somewhere happy. It's very emotional. It's very sweet. I really like it. Super Paper Mario has a lot of heart. For how silly it is, it's amazing how sweet it can also be. So, those are my top 10 weddings in video games. Rambled on about. Hope you enjoyed me rambling. If you're still watching this, especially, I hope you did, because otherwise there wasn't too much for you to watch in this episode. I only got, like, a few cards. I'm not gonna get the rest of the cards here on camera. I'll do that on my own time, but it was just, I wouldn't have had time to make a real video. This was just the easiest way for me to do it. So, what are some of your favorite weddings in video games? Did I hit yours? Can you think of any others that I might have missed that might have been better? I haven't played Phantasy Star, so I can't use that one. Or Final Fantasy 15, even though that one seems very nice. Their entire game's about planning weddings, actually. There's, like, that, like, My Perfect Wedding game. I only know about it because the completionist did it as, like, a joke video one time. But anyway, thank you for watching, listening. I'm getting married soon. That's going to be my favorite wedding of all time because it is mine. I can't wait. I love Allie so much. I'm glad that I finally get to say that I'm her husband. I finally get to wear my ring. I'm just so over the moon about this. So thank you guys for joining me. Don't know what uploads are going to be like for a little while, but I'll be back eventually because though you guys are not my true love, I do love you all very much, and I love having this channel and talking with you in the comments and on Twitter and everything like that. I'll be back to finish up Psychonauts soon. I think it'll be a few more episodes of me playing this. Until then, peace and love. See you later.